A very good afternoon to one and all. Welcome back after the lunch. Now we are going to have a panel discussion which is engaging the youth in climate action. It's time for some real talk. How can you contribute towards climate action? That's what exactly our panel discussion will address, led by our wonderful moderator, Ms. Pranati Shah. We have an exciting discussion upcoming in Pune's development, congestion, and environment. I would now like to invite the four young panelists to present their views on the same. Ms. Aditi Kasude from MES Garware, Somalia Ghosh from Gokhale School of Politics and Economics, Rahul Bapat from Symbiosis School of Economics, and Ayush Patil from VIT. Also, I would like to invite Ms. Pranati Shah, the moderator for this event, on the stage. Please give them a huge round of applause.
Good afternoon, everyone. It's my pleasure to invite you all for this youth panel discussion on Pune's development, environmental challenges. Our key topics that we are going to discuss today are Tekri conservation, traffic, sustainable development, and air quality index. I would like to introduce you all to our esteemed panelists, Ayush from VIT, Rahul Bapat from Symbiosis School of Economics, Aditi from Garware College, and Shomalya from Gokhale Institute of Economics. So as we young generation, we are the change makers, and it is our duty to plan for future. So let's have this productive discussion. I would like Ayush, you to start with your topic.
Good afternoon, everyone. Once known as Pensioners' Paradise, due to its tranquility, the bustling city of Pune is now grappling with slew of issues, one of the most serious of which is traffic congestion. I would like to address the city's landscape is currently marred with, by the aftermath of redevelopment efforts and its growing transition phase of rapid urbanization. Pune, known for its pleasant climate and vibrant green spaces, is now facing mobility crisis that threatens our long-term sustainability as well. Today, Pune ranks fourth globally as per TomTom Traffic Index in 2024, which mentions in its report that average of 33 minutes is spent to just travel 10 kilometers in Pune. And factors which have created this scenario are rapid urbanization and private vehicle ownership. This city sees addition of lakhs of new vehicles annually, and these vehicles create problem further, such as unauthorized parkings reduce the spaces on roads, and which reduces road spaces, and this creates bottlenecks and further create congestion. Next and the foremost is inadequate public transport. The PM-PML bus system is often criticized for not meeting public's demand, with issues like insufficient bus capacity, overcrowding, and low frequency in routes. Pune's metro is being developed, but its current coverage is not enough to alleviate the congestion problem in Pune. Also, the major problem is with people living here, lack of discipline in drivers. People drive through wrong sides, park anywhere, jump off signals. This all add to a problematic situation further. A trip of 30 minutes is extended up to 2 hours or even more. Vehicular pollutions alone contribute up to 40% of total emissions in Pune, making it a significant driver of climate change. According to data, Pune's AQI in February 2025 is 137, which clearly tells that air is heavily polluted due to traffic congestion. Now the question is, what actually we have to do? First, in my opinion, firstly, we should expand public transport. We should allocate certain amount of funding and expand Pune Metro to the key corridors and suburbs. Then PM-PML, we have to increase the fleet size. We have to increase frequency on routes. We have to optimize the routes. We have to increase the number of electric buses so that it can be more sustainable. And then we have to emphasize on strengthening of interagency coordination. And for public awareness, we need to launch campaigns that would make people make people use public transport rather than private ones. We should learn from cities like Singapore, which used electronic road pricing to charge people to use congested roads. We should learn from Copenhagen that we should be for developing as they have developed a cycling infrastructure. So non-motorized transport should be enhanced in India as well. Then is if the question is how we are going to, are we really targeting it? So ladies and gentlemen, if we really care about our health, care about our city and care about our planet, we need to act now. If we do small actions, it can confirmly create a big difference. Pune with cleaner air, shorter commutes and healthier climate is possible, but only and only if we act together. Let's build a city where mobility is not about moving people, but moving towards a sustainable future. Thank you.
Thank you, Ayush. That was a great insight. I would like to add one point to his discussion. As he said that Pune needs more good public transport, I would like to add a point that Pune currently has 1,800 buses operational. And looking at the population, we need more 2,000 buses that should be operational. So the metro is not alone going to solve the problem. So this is being studied on Pune's mobility. This is what I would like to add to your discussion. I would like to welcome Aditi for your discussion.
So, I am not residents of Pune. I am from a small town in Panchgani, and every time I travel from Panchgani to Pune, I can visibly feel the difference in the air. So, this is not something that is invisible in Pune now. Air quality has been depreciated in the past multiple years in Pune, and I feel like there are so many various causes behind it. One of them being the redevelopment that has been started in Pune, the constructions of metros, and I feel like people have not taken seriously how hazardous that can be to the health of people. Recently, in my college itself, there was a construction happening for the engineering building, and due to the construction, there were multiple people who were facing problems for respiration. And there have to be some, there have to be some kind of problems which cannot be eradicated just by saying that, oh, we can do or we cannot do that. So water sprinklers should be used during constructions, as well as I feel like there are industries, especially in Hadapsar area, in Sakan area, where a lot of pollution has been produced. Air quality has been depreciated in those areas more than the other areas in Pune, and there are so many chemicals that have been emitted in those areas, like sulfur dioxide or like even nitrogen dioxide, which is the reason why so many people around that area are facing problems like asthma. So the air quality index in Pune is 145 currently, and as per UN, it has been suggested that it should be less than 50. So we are already way ahead of what it should be expected, and there have to be awareness in order to reduce it. And I feel like, as the debate also mentioned, that on individual levels it cannot be, obviously we can take individual actions in order to reduce it, but there has to be a government initiative that has to come up and say that maybe we can provide incentives to industries if they reduce the pollutions they are creating in those areas. Because I feel like if you add taxes or penalties instead of giving incentives, they are not going to agree. If you give them some kind of benefit, that is when they understand, oh, this is where we can reduce the cost, this is what we will do. So I feel like that could be one of the initiatives that we can take in order to reduce the amount of air pollution happening in our city, as well as the level of PM 2.5, which is the particulate matter in the air, has decreased, but it hasn't decreased to a level where it could be safe for all of us. and that is what is causing multiple problems, health hazard problems in people. And if it keeps on rising similarly, I feel like there could be a major problem in, even like for daily commuters. It has already disrupted a lot of like daily lives because of the amount of air quality that has been depreciated in the past few years. And some of the initiatives we can take is, I feel like there is this new concept of green top roofs, which we can start, like there are buildings which have already started planting trees on the rooftops, and that could generally help in the long term in order to decrease the amount of pollution that has been happening in the air.
Thank you. I would like Shomalya, you to discuss your topic.
Taking inspiration from the earlier speakers, I would like to focus attention on Pune's iconic hillocks, which are tekris, that serve as natural water reservoirs. During the monsoon, these hillocks absorb rainwater, which gradually seeps into the ground, replenishing the groundwater levels and reducing flood risk. These hillocks are vital for Pune, uh, but nowadays they are broken down for housing and commercial purposes. A prime example can be that in Baner and Hinjawadi, rapid urbanization has led to a decline in natural water storage system. So in these areas, basically the hillocks have been broken down for real estate purposes, which is significantly causing acute water shortages in recent years. These tekris act as natural green lungs, improving Pune's air quality by absorbing carbon dioxide and releasing oxygen. Um, Taking note of my previous speaker, on February 28, 2025, which is recently, Pune's AQI stood at 137, classified as poor. This is a new development for this city. This means Tekri conversation has been even more important. Not everything is bad. In Vetal Tekri initiative, local communities have come together to promote afforestation efforts, reviving parts of the hillock through collective action. This shows that with enough public awareness and commitment, restoring degraded wild hillocks is possible. I think expanding such community efforts will ultimately lead to conservation efforts of the tekris. Adding on to that, Pune's population exceeds 7.5 million. The pressure on land is enormous. The city's demand for housing and infrastructure is very high, but it raises a critical question. Can Pune find a balance between development and environmental preservation? Tekris provide a range of ecosystem services from water retention to improving air quality, all while adding to the city's green cover. Destroying them for short-term gains might solve immediate urban needs, but it will compromise the city's long-term sustainability. The loss of native flora and fauna on Parvati Tekri highlights the consequences of neglecting these natural assets. So what we should do? Public awareness campaigns and youth-led movements can inspire citizens to take ownership of these natural treasures. By prioritizing Tekri conservation alongside economic growth, Pune can create a resilient future that balances progress with environmental well-being.
Thank you. After discussing Tekri conservation, AQI, and traffic, what is the main action we should take? That is the sustainable development, on which I would like Rahul to speak and discuss on this topic.
Hello everyone, I'll speak on sustainable development in a bilingual mode, that is in a mixture of Hindi and English. तो सबसे पहले डिस्कस करते हैं कि सस्टेनेबल डेवलपमेंट होता क्या है. हम पुणे में रहते हैं और पुणे सिंस 2 centuries इज कॉन्स्टेंटली ग्रोइंग बिकॉज ऑफ इट्स रिच एजुकेशनल एंड हिस्टोरिकल बैकग्राउंड. लेकिन इस डेवलपमेंट के कुछ डाउनसाइड्स भी होते हैं. हम बड़े बड़े लेन्स बनाना, 6-7 लेन्स के हाईवेज बनाना, फ्लाईओवर्स बनाना, बड़े बड़ी कांच की बिल्डिंग्स बनाना, इसको अक्सर हम डेवलपमेंट कहते हैं, लेकिन ये लॉन्ग टर्म में बिल्कुल भी सस्टेनेबल नहीं है. ये अर्बन हीट आइलैंड इफेक्ट का मेन कॉज है जिसकी वजह से ग्लोबल वार्मिंग बढ़ रही है। उस पर आऊँगा मैं बाद में। पहले बात करते एफॉरेस्टेशन की, यानी हमें सबसे पहले तो हमारे शहरों में ग्रीन कवर बढ़ाना बहुत ज़रूरी है। वी हैव टू कंसिडर दैट वी लिव इन अ ट्रॉपिकल क्लाइमेट, और ट्रॉपिकल क्लाइमेट को क्लाइमेट चेंज का सबसे ज़्यादा इफेक्ट एडवर्सली पड़ने वाला है। यूरोप जैसे शहरों में भी, यूरोप जैसे कॉन्टिनेंट्स में भी बहुत सारे शहर है जहाँ पे ग्रीन कवर नहीं है, बट उनको उतना इफेक्ट पड़ेगा नहीं क्योंकि दे आर कोल्ड कंट्रीज। वी आर अ हॉट कंट्री एंड वी नीड ग्रीन कवर एज सुन एज पॉसिबल। तो सबसे पहले तो हमें डेवलपमेंट जिसको हम कंसिडर करते हैं, हमें उसकी परिभाषा बदलनी बहुत ज़रूरी है। बड़े बड़े हाईवेज बनाना और फ्लाईओवर्स, ट्रिपल डबल फ्लाईओवर्स बनाना, ये डेवलपमेंट का उतना बड़ा इंडिकेटर नहीं है जितना बड़ा लोगों के लिए लिवेबल स्पेसेस बनाना है। हमें ऐसा शहर बनाना है जो कि लोगों के लिए लिवेबल हो, सबसे गर्मी वाले महीनों में भी, यानी मई में भी आप दोपहर में बाहर निकल सको, इस लेवल का हमें शहर बनाना है। उसके अलावा उसके लिए क्या किया जाए? सबसे पहले तो हमें ग्रीन कवर बढ़ाना पड़ेगा। जैसे कि हमारे जितने भी स्ट्रीट्स हैं, अगर आपको कोई भी ऐसा स्पॉट दिखे जो कि रूखा पड़ा है तो वहाँ एक पेड़ लगाइए। वहाँ पेड़ लगाने से उसका टेम्परेचर गर्मियों में 8 से 10 डिग्री तक कम हो सकता है। उसके अलावा रिवर क्लीनिंग तो है ही। रिवर तो हमारी इतनी गंदी हो चुकी है कि अब क्या ही बोले उस पर। आपको रिवर नहीं, नाला बन चुका है अब वो। तो रिवर क्लीनिंग के लिए बहुत सिंपल टेक्नोलॉजी तो ये है कि एक बहुत सारे देशों ने लाई है, वियतनाम, कैम्बोडिया जैसे देशों ने, कि एक ट्रैश ईटिंग बोट करके एक मिलती है। वो बोट अगर आप रिवर्स में इंस्टॉल करोगे तो वो ट्रैश, प्लास्टिक को कलेक्ट करती है और उससे आपकी रिवर क्लीन होती है। उसके अलावा प्लास्टिक पे बैन करना तो मतलब ये तो बहुत ही नॉर्मल सा सोल्यूशन है, ये तो करना ही चाहिए। स्पेशली प्लास्टिक स्ट्रॉज और प्लास्टिक बॉटल्स को ग्लास बॉटल्स और पेपर स्ट्रॉ से रिप्लेस किया जा सकता है। उसके अलावा फ़िलहाल जो मुला मुठा नदी के इधर जो रिवर फ्रंट बन रहा है, अब वो रिवर फ्रंट भी वही प्रॉब्लम है जो मैंने इनिशियली बोली कि हम कंक्रीट बिछाना, पेड़ काटना, इसको डेवलपमेंट कहते हैं, लेकिन ये डेवलपमेंट नहीं है। ये इससे पुणे में जो फ्लडिंग होगी वो बर्दाश्त से बाहर होगी। अगर आपको एक अच्छा रिवर फ्रंट या लेक फ्रंट का एग्जाम्पल लेना है तो आप पाषाण लेक जाइए। पाषाण लेक में अगर आपने देखा है, एक लेक है और उसके आसपास एक वॉकेबल स्पेस है लोगों के लिए जो कि कॉन्क्रीटाइज्ड नहीं है। दैट्स अ वॉकेबल स्पेस क्योंकि वहाँ पे मिट्टी ही है और फॉरेस्ट जैसा बना रखा है उन्होंने, ताकि वहाँ पे वॉक करना भी प्लेजेंट हो और उससे एनवायरनमेंट को भी कुछ नुकसान नहीं पहुँचता। उसके अलावा फिर अभी हाँ, स्ट्रीट ट्रीज तो बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट होता है। स्ट्रीट ट्रीज जैसे मैंने बोला कि कोई भी सड़क अगर हमें प्लेन दिखे तो उसके आसपास पेड़ लगाने बहुत ज़रूरी है। आप देखोगे ओस्लो जैसे शहरों में भी उतने स्ट्रीट ट्रीज नहीं है, लेकिन जैसा मैंने बोला कि वो एक कोल्ड कंट्रीज है और उन्हें उतना फ़र्क नहीं पड़ता जितना हमें पड़ेगा। इफ़ वी हैव टू सर्वाइव आवर समर्स वी नीड स्ट्रीट ट्रीज बैडली। और स्ट्रीट ट्रीज लगाना कोई बहुत कॉम्प्लिकेटेड प्रोसेस नहीं है, वो बहुत सबसे सस्ता तरीका है किसी भी शहर को डेवलप करने का। उससे प्रॉपर्टी प्राइसेस तो बढ़ते ही है और कार्बन एमिशंस जो है PM 2.5 का, उसका भी हमें एडवर्स इम्पैक्ट नहीं होता और वो आपको एक शेड प्रोवाइड करते हैं। तो स्ट्रीट ट्रीज तो बहुत ज़रूरी है। उसके अलावा फिर हमें ट्रांजिट ओरिएंटेड डेवलपमेंट पे ध्यान देना बहुत ज़रूरी है। हम क्या करते हैं, हमें लगता है अगर हमने कार खरीद ली तो हम बहुत बड़े आदमी बन गए और अभी ज़्यादा लोग कार खरीदेंगे, मर्सिडीज़, BMW, ऑडी, तो ये देश बहुत अमीर हो रहा है। लेकिन एक बार एक बोगोटा नाम का एक शहर है, उसके मेयर ने कहा था कि डेवलप्ड कंट्रीज़ आर नॉट दोज वेयर पुअर पीपल हैव कार्स, बट डेवलप्ड कंट्रीज़ आर दोज वेयर इवन द रिच यूज़ पब्लिक ट्रांसपोर्ट। यही वजह है कि स्विट्ज़रलैंड देश जो है वो दुनिया का सबसे डेवलप्ड देश है और वहाँ पे इवन रिचेस्ट क्लास के जो लोग हैं, सबसे एलीट लोग, वो भी वहाँ की ट्रेन सिस्टम यूज़ करते हैं क्योंकि वो ट्रेन सिस्टम यूज़ करना इतना एफिशिएंट है, इतना कॉस्ट इफ़ेक्टिव है और इतना कन्वीनियंट है कि उन्हें कार्स की ज़रूरत ही नहीं पड़ती। वहाँ पे ट्रेन्स में ही, बसेस में ही ट्रैवल करना बहुत कन्वीनियंट है। तो हमें इसी प्रकार का एटीट्यूड हमारे शहरों में भी डेवलप करना पड़ेगा, स्पेशली पुणे में जहाँ पे बसेस की सख्त कमी है। जैसे मॉडरेटर प्रणति ने बोला कि हमारे शहर में करंटली 1800 बसेस है और पॉपुलेशन के लिहाज से बात किया जाए तो हमको और 2000 बसेस की और ज़्यादा ज़रूरत है। कितना टाइम? तो मेट्रो लोग सजेस्ट करते हैं कि मेट्रो बनाइए, लेकिन मेट्रो बनाने का दिक्कत यह है कि मेट्रो बनाना बहुत एक्सपेंसिव होता है, और क्राउडेड एरियाज़ में तो मेट्रो फीजेबल है, लेकिन जहाँ पे ज़्यादा डेंसिटी नहीं है पॉपुलेशन की, वहाँ मेट्रो बनाना मतलब एक वाइट एलिफेंट प्रोजेक्ट की तरह ही देखा जा सकता है उसको। और ऊपर से पुणे मेट्रो में जो सबसे बड़ी प्रॉब्लम मुझे नज़र आती है वो ये है कि अभी जो 3rd लाइन बन रही है शिवाजी नगर से हिंजेवाड़ी फेज़ 3 तक, वहाँ पे उन्होंने फ्लाईओवर बनाया और उसके ऊपर मेट्रो बनाई है। लाइक द होल पॉइंट ऑफ मेट्रो इज स्विचिंग फ्रॉम अ कार सेंट्रिक इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर टू अ ट्रांजिट ओरिएंटेड इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर। लेकिन अगर आप फ्लाईओवर्स बना रहे हो तो आप एक तरीके से लोगों को एनकरेज ही कर रहे हो कि आप गाड़ियों को और इस्तेमाल कीजिए, और ये मेट्रो तो हमने बस शो ऑफ के लिए लगा रखी है, तो हमें वैसा नहीं करना। हमें लोगों को कार्स यूज़ करने से जितना हो सके हमें उनको डिस्करेज करना है। बहुत सारे देशों में तो एक ग्रीन टैक्स लगता है कि अगर आप एक पेट्रोल या फिर नॉन पेट्रोल की कार भी ओन करते हैं तो आपको एक प्रकार का टैक्स देना पड़ता है, ताकि आपको एक रिमाइंडर रहे कि आपने इस एनवायरनमेंट को पोल्यूट किया है और आपको एज अ कॉम्पनसेशन टैक्स भरना पड़ेगा। इसी के चक्कर में बहुत सारे लोग वहाँ पे उन देशों में कार्स को यूज़ करना प्रेफर नहीं करते और पब्लिक ट्रांजिट पे रिलाई करते हैं। उसके अलावा फिर अब सिंगापुर भी देखिए, सिंगापुर इज़ वन ऑफ द मोस्ट डेंसली पॉपुलेटेड कंट्रीज इन द वर्ल्ड, आई बिलीव द मोस्ट। लेकिन वहाँ पे आप देखोगे उन्होंने कार्स पे लिमिट लगा रखी है, मतलब मुझे वो एग्जैक्ट नंबर नहीं याद आ रहा, लेकिन वहाँ पे एक लिमिट है कि इससे ज़्यादा कार्स एक शहर में नहीं बढ़ सकती, आपको पब्लिक ट्रांसपोर्ट ही यूज़ करना पड़ेगा। वहाँ पे उनकी मेट्रो बहुत एफिशिएंट है, क्लीन है, सेफ है और कन्वीनियंट है, तो हमको वैसा ही टाइप का पब्लिक ट्रांसपोर्ट हमारे शहर में देना पड़ेगा। तो हमारे शहर में लोग पब्लिक ट्रांसपोर्ट क्यों नहीं यूज़ करते? इसका जवाब मैं कहता हूँ कि 4 चीज़ें हैं। पब्लिक ट्रांसपोर्ट को 4 क्राइटेरियाज मीट करने बहुत ज़रूरी है: चीप, एफिशिएंट, कन्वीनियंट एंड कंफर्ट। चीप तो है, ठीक है, 5 रुपीज़ 10 रुपीज़ का ही टिकट है तो चीप तो है। कन्वीनियंट उतना नहीं है, क्योंकि कभी कभी हमें एक बस के लिए आधा घंटा भी इंतज़ार करना पड़ता है, तो लोग सोचते हैं कि इससे अच्छा तो मैं अपनी खुद की प्राइवेट व्हीकल ही निकाल लूँ। कंफर्टेबल भी नहीं है, क्योंकि बहुत भीड़ होती है तो उसमें लोगों को ट्रैवल करना से डर लगता है, तो उसका सोल्यूशन यही है कि बसेस को बढ़ाया जाए ताकि भीड़ जो है वो डिस्ट्रीब्यूट हो। और उसके अलावा कंफर्टेबल, अब आप देखिए एसी बसेस जो है पुणे में, वहाँ पे लोग ट्रैवल करना ज़्यादा प्रेफर करते हैं, लेकिन जो ब्लू वाली बसेस जो है वहाँ पे प्रेफर नहीं करते, क्योंकि वो बसेस बहुत ज़्यादा हीट करती है। तो हमें मैं कहूँगा कि हमें इलेक्ट्रिक बसेस की ज़रूरत है जो एसी भी है, ताकि लोग कंफर्टेबली ट्रैवल करें, और उसकी फ्रीक्वेंसी बढ़ाना भी बहुत ज़रूरी है ताकि लोगों को अपनी प्राइवेट व्हीकल निकालने का कोई इंसेंटिव बचे ना।
I would like to add one more point, a positive point. As I have done this study on Pune's urban mobility, Pune has already introduced, I think, 490 electric buses. So we can see a positive point also in this discussion. I would like other panelists, if you want to discuss anything or any point, and even public, if you want to raise any question or ask the panelists, please.
So I feel like daily commuters traveling to work every day are like around 1.4 million people in Pune. So out of them, only 0.4 people actually use public transport, and others prefer going to the private vehicles or either prefer going through cabs or rickshaws. So that is a very disadvantage, we can say, that, you know, for the public transport, because people are not preferring using it and rather preferring going through more convenient needs. So we need to brush up our game there.
Also, like people who still want to use private vehicles, so we can do carpooling, as if people living in a same residency or society moving on a same way. Why to use your own private vehicle for a single individual? Instead, use by sharing, or means basically you have to reduce the number of vehicles on the roads. If 10% of the population does, it can create a significant difference.
Even the price of public transport in Pune is not so low. So even if you travel for 1 kilometer, the autos usually overcharge. And speaking for the metro, so I live just on Agarkar Road. So if the nearest metro station from my hostel is around 1.1 kilometer, so I have to walk to Garwale College to take a metro to say suppose Ramwadi. So I think the metro system should be designed in such a way, or if there is a distance between a densely populated area and a metro station, there should be some means of communication which is cheap, and that has not been implemented yet. And also the Uber and the Rapido prices are going up and up every day. And if you want to travel, since I am from Kolkata, so I have to travel to back to my home via the airport. And day by day, when I was here last year, the prices have been going tremendously up. Even if you want to travel to the railway station or the airport, which are, I think, pretty daily commutes for most people here in Pune, the price is extremely high. So I think that not only developing not only adding more buses or adding more autos or adding more means of public transportation is necessary. It's of course necessary, but the pricing system should also be designed in a way that it is convenient for most people. Thank you.
So, changing the city didn't solve your traffic problem because Kolkata is also one of the congested cities
Yes,
of
yes.
Pune,
Yeah.
of India.
Yeah, Pune is better, so that's why I'm saying ki the prices are going up also here.
So basically, I think I have read that India, the land use pattern of India, where India only dedicates its 8% land, urban land, to mobility, that is for roads, for road infrastructure. Whereas in developed countries, they give around 21 to 30% of their land for road infrastructure. So I think India really needs to work on this. Anyone from public would like to ask any question or discuss or put your point forward?
So, one of the panelists talked about a very important point that we have public transport in place. Public transport is developing day by day. There are new metro lines which are being set up. There are no new roads there are new buses which are coming up. Now electric buses have also started coming up. But the thing is, still people are not that much. People have become behaviorally more convenient to take out their own vehicle, buy more new vehicles, or at the most carpooling they will go to, so they will prefer car. And by road transport is still the most favorite mode of transport in Pune. This is what I have experienced. I am from Mumbai, and Mumbai we have a very good network of local trains. Here when I came, I missed that because here metro infrastructure is growing now, but since 2017 when I was here, I used to not see any metros also, hardly. I think there was not even a single line which was completely developed. The local train network was just here and there. It is the train never comes on time, or there are very less number of trains, so public doesn't find it reliable. But the thing is, I think Mumbai has benefited it because of because British had laid the transport at that time. They had laid the stone at that time, and because of which the rail network kept on increasing. So they had basically, you can say, they had seeded the public transport network at that time. BEST. BEST is one of the most diverse networks in Mumbai. A lot of people use it. There are depots which are filled with people in the morning. Obviously, it is overcrowded because people love it that much. People find it convenient. That kind of convenience does not have any value when it comes to Pune. So I think, as many of you people said, that public transport usage has to be encouraged and private transport discouragement has to be done, but that is not happening that much. There is metro. Today I tried to travel by metro. Usually when I stay in Rawet, but when I have to come to this area, somewhere here near this area, I tried to make use of public transport. Trains I saw, they were late today also. I came to metro, but metro is so far, I have to pay around 100 rupees just to get to the nearest metro station. There have to be feeder buses. We have it in Mumbai. Why it is not there here?
Yeah, that is the problem what Pune has. As I said, that Pune currently has only 1,800 buses operational, and Pune should increase more around 2,000 buses. Also, I think you're also talking about the last mile connectivity problem. That is what also Pune lacks. So that is what the discussion is
Exactly.
about.
And that is the biggest discouragement. If I have to pay 100 rupees just to get to the metro station, I would rather do a cab directly to this place, right? Or any other place that I have to go to.
You would like to add?
Basically, Pune has a hilly terrain. So building a reliable local train network like Mumbai is not possible in some of the areas. But I do think that even if it's a little bit overpriced, Pune do have a reliable auto rickshaw system, which is not maybe similar to the Mumbai local train, but is a little bit better. So I think Pune is doing good because navigating through the hilly terrain is not so easy. And I think in the near future, in the next 10 to 15 years, Pune will have a reliable transport system, and you will not face this problem. Thank you.
So in Mumbai also the auto rickshaws travel mandatorily, they go by meter. That's not the case here.
Yeah, Mumbai is definitely better than Pune in if we are talking about public transport. But I know Pune lags behind if we compare it to Mumbai. Also, Pune is comparatively less planned. Actually, I would say unplanned city compared to Mumbai. So that is why Pune needs to work more on its public transport. As you said, that you have to go to metro, even to travel 1 kilometer, you have to pay 100 rupees. That is the problem of last mile connectivity, which Pune is again facing. That is why I talked about why buses should be increased, and metro alone is not going to solve the problem.
And
Right.
also, I would like to add a point that you told last mile connectivity is a problem. Pune Metro is a latest plan. That's not a means Pune Metro is not being developed over the means it's not an old system. It's created now, and it will take time to connect each and every corridor and suburb of this city. And initially, you mentioned about that you would prefer private your own private vehicle. So that is the problem we are facing, and for the solution for it is increased congestion pricing. Like if people like in Copenhagen, they have created car-free zones in their key areas. So also similar in Pune, if we create, so people would not prefer private vehicles there. They have to use public vehicles then. So that is the whole point we are discussing here.
Anyone
Right,
else?
so
Who
I think we have a lot to take from cities like the ones you mentioned, like cities like Oslo and Switzerland and
Also, I think Tokyo, because it is the best example of last mile connectivity. And anyone else who would like to ask any question or raise a point? Yeah.
Hi, my name is Maitreya Gorpade. I'm an environmental lawyer, and I just wanted to congratulate everyone on the very engaging discussion. I thought, Rahul, you raised some fantastic points, and just a couple of things I'd like to address first. That see, Pune's public transport it is undoubtedly a problem, but the fact of the matter is that buses are still used by over 1 million people every day in Pune. So we can come up with various criteria that it has to be comfortable, it has to be convenient, but despite all of these factors, it is still used. That tells us something. That tells us two things. Firstly, there's a significant population in Pune who's not able to afford their own vehicles. Secondly, there's a significant population who isn't able to afford all kinds of public transport either. So, sir, you are saying that autos are cheap and convenient, but for some people that's really not the case. In fact, for a vast majority of people, that's not the case. It might appear so because there's a significant population who uses autos, and that is true. But if one looks at the total population of Pune, a vast majority still continue to rely on buses as the sole way of going about town because that is the only one they can afford. Now, that being said, a lot has been discussed over here about this has to be done, this should be done, things should be this way. And we are all in agreement that this is how things should be. No one will deny that there has to be a better public transportation system out there. My question is, how does this happen? How do these shoulds become does? How does one go from an idea to an actual implementation of it? And there's many answers to that, but one thing that is certain is that we need to realize that our actions in terms of where what kind of corporations we choose to buy products from, what kind of political parties we choose to endorse or not speak against, what kind of decisions do we make on a daily basis. Every act that we do is essentially an ecological act. How much are we engaging with our government? You know, how many of us have been to a tree felling hearing? You talked about we should plant trees, and I completely agree we should plant trees. What about protecting the trees that already are? So, how many of the people here have been for a tree felling hearing? They happen every month for different projects. Can anyone say they have? I don't think so. So, it's one thing to say that these all things should be done, but it can't be the end of the sentence that this should be done by somebody else. If we all have a stake in the environment that we live in, Pune's air is everybody's business, right? Then these things need to be focused on. How will we get more public transport? By putting pressure on our local government. How will we ensure that more trees are there in Pune? By putting pressure on our local government, by talking to corporations who assist you in that. There is a foundation called Devrai Foundation, which offers free saplings for everyone. They've planted some 32 lakh saplings or helped in plantation for the past 30 years. It's in Pune. How many of us have enlisted their services? There's plenty to be done. Yeah, sorry. You had a point.
Yeah, of course, I get your point that you are trying to say that we should work on our individual level also rather than blaming.
Not just on an individual level. Work with individual corporations, work with individual departments of government, work with, like, exercise your right as a democratic citizen. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah,
That is really what it's about. It's not about like identifying the problem. We know what the problems are. Air pollution has been a problem in Delhi for the past 30 years. We've identified the sources also at this point. It's still not being able to solve despite everyone's attention there. Why? It's because there isn't significant push. You know, you as a political entity, all of us are political entities, we will get what we demand for. We don't demand hard and strongly enough for a better environment. That's why we don't get it. That's I guess, my limited
Yes,
point.
you are right. But as you said, we should demand for it being the citizens. But many of us are not even aware of that there are lack of buses. Like people are not aware of many problems that are happening around them. And I would have liked to answer that, but Rahul is keen to answer to your discussion, discuss with you. So I'll let Rahul speak on it.
मैं आपको एक बहुत इंटरेस्टिंग बात बताता हूँ. 1960s में नेदरलैंड्स जो देश है उसने अपने सारे कैनॉल तोड़ दिए और वहाँ पे सड़क बिठाई ताकि लोग गाड़ियों का यूज़ कर सके. लेकिन 20-30 साल बाद उनको रियलाइज़ हुआ कि उन्होंने कितनी बड़ी गलती की है. वहाँ पे भी उन्होंने बहुत कार्स को मार्केट किया, बहुत कूल दिखाने की कोशिश की, भाई तुम BMW ओन करो, तुम्हारा क्लास बढ़ेगा. लेकिन फिर 20-30 साल बाद उनको रियलाइज़ हुआ कि ये एनवायरनमेंट के लिए कितना डिस्ट्रॉइंग है. तो उन्होंने क्या किया, उन्होंने इस चीज़ को रिवर्स कर दिया. गवर्नमेंट ने इनिशिएटिव लिया कि हम सिस्टम ही ऐसी बनाएंगे कि लोग गाड़ी का इस्तेमाल कम से कम करें. पहले तो उन्होंने, आज भी एम्स्टर्डम में बाइसिकल्स जो है वो फ्री में अवेलेबल होती है कि आप कोई भी जाके यूज़ कर सकता है. तो बात यही है कि अगर गवर्नमेंट लोगों में इन्वेस्ट करे तो लोग देखते हैं कि गवर्नमेंट हमारे अंदर इन्वेस्ट कर रही है तो हम भी उसको रेसिप्रोकेट करेंगे. अगर आपने बसेस को इनकन्वीनियंट बनाया, जो ब्लू बसेस आपने देखी होंगी पुणे में, वो तो कितना मतलब वहाँ पे ट्रैवल करना ही हेडेक होता है. तो लोग सोचते हैं कि अगर गवर्नमेंट चाहती ही नहीं है कि मैं इन बस में ट्रैवल करूँ, जो हम कोई गुड्स थोड़ी ना है कि हम लोग ऐसे एकदम मतलब ऐसे जैम पैक होके ट्रैवल करेंगे. हमें भी कन्वीनियंटली ट्रैवल करना का मन करता है. तो अगर बसेस की फ्रीक्वेंसी बढ़ जाए, अगर लोग देखें कि यहाँ पे क्राउड नहीं जमा हो रहा उतना, और अगर कंफर्टेबल है, लाइक अगर गर्मियों के महीने में भी एसी बहुत अच्छे से चलता है, तो मैं कहूँगा लोग ज़रूर यूज़ करेंगे उन बसेस को. अब मेट्रो में भी हम देखते हैं कि वो कन्वीनियंट, मतलब वो अलग बात है कि वो एक्सेसिबल नहीं है, लेकिन वहाँ पे जाके आपको बहुत अच्छा फील होता है कि मतलब बहुत साफ़ सुथरा है और ट्रैवल करने में मज़ा आता है. तो ऐसा अगर मज़ा आए तो लोग पक्का यूज़ करेंगे, मैं कहूँगा. और लोगों की गलती मैं कहूँगा इतनी है कि बस लोग ये चीज़ें इलेक्शन में डिमांड नहीं करते. अगर हम अपनी गवर्नमेंट से डिमांड करें कि बेटर पब्लिक इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर क्यों नहीं बन रहा, डिफॉरेस्टेशन को काउंटर करने के लिए कुछ क्यों नहीं किया जा रहा, तो गवर्नमेंट को भी इलेक्शन जीतने हैं तो वो कोई तो पार्टी आएगी ज़रूर जो कि इस बारे में बात करेगी.
Okay, so as the time is running, so we'll have to end this discussion here. Thank you everyone for your insights, and thank you for this discussion.